Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Ignite Humanity Live. I'm your host, Lady JB Owen, and I'm delighted to be here today to be talking about how to ignite humanity, how each and every one of us can step into that great version of ourselves. And in doing so, we shine the light on the ability for others to ignite their lives and create a ripple effect that is going to make its way around the world and truly ignite humanity. And one of the ways we love to do that is through Ignite Moments. We share those powerful stories, those personal perseverance, those moments where people are transformed and step into a greater version of themselves. And we truly love the wisdom and the wise wisdom and blessings that come from Ignite Moments. And we love to share them so that you too can learn from and glean from our amazing guests and how they have stepped into igniting their own lives. Well, before we get started, we just want to let you know, if this is your first time being here, welcome, welcome. And if you'd like to know what we're doing at Ignite Humanity, you can always jump on over to our website and check out all the fun stuff that we're up to. We're building schools and creating books, and we're doing all fun things, documentaries and docuseries, to talk about how each and every one of us has the ability and the responsibility to be interested in where humanity is going and how they can ignite the lives of others by starting with themselves. All right, let's get to our amazing guest. We have with us today renowned author and dual certified coach, Stacey Yates-Seller empowers parents of ADHD children through her initiative, Happier by the Minute. She simplifies positive psychology and conscious parenting concepts. Transitioning from 1-minute videos to a popular podcast, transformative masterclasses, and global speaking engagements, she has become a cornerstone for parents tackling neurodiversity challenges. Stacey's seasoned insights stemming from personal and professional experiences are reshaping parent-child relationships, reducing stress, and fostering a more hopeful outlook towards neurodiversity. Please, please, please welcome her to the show.
Hello.
Happy to have you here. That was a mouthful there. I was like, neurodiversity, parent challenges, ADHD. That is a lot. You're tackling a lot. You're addressing a lot of issues. Share a little bit how that got started for you.
Well, let's make sure that as we talk about labels like ADHD, we aren't talking about them with a negative spin. I like to say, instead of attention deficit disorder, hyperactivity, whatever it used to be, for me, it's a dear human developing. Let's just remember, I'm starting to really believe that being not normal is what's normal. We keep talking about neurodiversity, and the reality is, like, we all have something. And whether we call it a gift or whether we call it a challenge or we call it a difference, it's just we've got to make sure that we're using strength-based words, and that we aren't looking at our children with deficits or disorders, and that we're like looking at them as perfect human beings that are just trying to develop in this world. Oh, bless them.
I think it's so great that you say that, because I think if I was to rewind and go back 40 years, I'd have all kinds of labels on myself from school. I couldn't sit in my desk. I couldn't focus. I didn't want to pay attention to all that. So I think it's true. It's not a limitation. It's just a unique way of pushing the limits to find the version of who we are as we step into the greatness of our own reality. You are such an amazing parent, and you're really tackling this particular corner of the world of challenges, if you want to call it that. And yet I love the Happier by the Minute, because you're really showing that it's not a challenge. It's something different. It's something unique. And it's something that each and every parent can see from a different perspective. Can you talk a little bit about that Happier by the Minute moment?
First of all, I just want to say, speaking of corner of the world, I am late in the evening in Scotland, and so I'm in my dark little basement apartment here. So do forgive the lighting, and you're in this fabulous morning light. So, but it's okay wherever we are in the world.
And we love that. We love guests from all over the world. It's super wonderful. And so thanks for staying up late to be with us.
Yeah, it's all good. So, for me, Happier by the Minute started because I was getting certified in positive psychology, and in order to graduate, I needed to do a project, and I had a full-time career as an executive in Silicon Valley. I had 2 children, one that was just 6 months old and one that was just 3 years old. I had a really busy, big family. And I was like, gosh, if I'm going to learn positive psychology, I need it in these like bite-sized morsels of 1 minute little nuggets, like just, drip, 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 instead of like a 365-page book and or a 3-hour movie or whatever it was going to be. I just needed things in these little bite-sized morsels that I could get like in my traffic university as I was on my way to work and on my way back. And then as my son, it really became clear that my son had a lot of delays, speech and language delays, very hyperactive, colicky, couldn't get him to sleep. And as he got older, really realizing that he was going to be diagnosed with something. And it just, then I really needed to figure out more and focus my study on conscious parenting and on ADHD and on how do I raise this child in a way that celebrates him and isn't just trying to put him in a box. And so I started doing positive psychology meetings for moms with kids who were labeled with disabilities, because I was like, wow, we as moms, we need to fill up our buckets before we can help our kids.
Right.
And as I was doing that for our school district, I was realizing, looking at the moms with the older kids, I was like, wow, this is not the future that I want for my child in this structured school environment that is not strengths based and is, if he's having trouble reading, we're going to focus more on what they're having trouble with. Let's not focus on their strengths. Let's focus on where they're struggling. And then I saw this woman in a little video, and her name was JB. And I watched her doing, being out in the world with her son who had ADHD. And I was like, who is this woman? I want to do what she's doing. And that's when I, followed you around the world and found you in Estonia. And, and ever since then have been really trying to, I don't want to say fight against this idea that it's a neurotypical world and it's really hard for neurodiverse people in this neurotypical world. And I really just wanted to create a safe world for my son, however that was, using positive psychology, using conscious parenting, using the world as a school, as opposed to a schoolroom as their world. Oh, I just made that up. That was good. Anyway, and I just didn't want any of us, even my neurotypical child or myself, to feel like we were always fighting against these social constructs and these social beliefs. And so in 2020, I left my big corporate Silicon Valley job, my family, who have a lot of Silicon Valley beliefs about money, and just said, let's go see the world and let's get out of here and let's go see, because in Silicon Valley, there is this sense that there's never enough. It's never enough. And I just wanted them to see what different definitions of enough were around the world.
Well, thank you. I love it. I mean, I'm just smiling ear to ear because I do remember us meeting in Estonia. And I also do remember the teachers telling me they didn't actually label my son, but they basically told me that I needed to medicate him. And I remember that feeling as a parent, like, what do you mean? Like, isn't his behavior, like, how can we inspire him? Doesn't God give us all gifts? Aren't we here as teachers and parents to facilitate and foster, their unique diversity and the things about them that are different? And I remember feeling very challenged and very labeled and very much in a box. And yes, I decided to go travel with my kids and teach them differently. And it's beautiful that that's how we ignite humanity, because we do things that somebody else sees and somebody else feels like they can implement it into their life. And so I love that we met. I love that you're on this journey also. And what I do also really love is the care, attention, and patience that you show, not just to the children, but to the parents, because the parents don't have a manual. We don't have an instruction booklet. We don't know how to figure it all out perfectly. But what you're talking about is these little bite-sized ways that we can make it better for both parents and child. And then that is kind of really going to amplify itself into what are we doing to ignite humanity. If parents are doing a better job, if kids are feeling supported, that's ultimately what's going to ignite humanity. I know that you have a popular podcast, you do a lot on Instagram. What do you love the most about now you took your one of your problems or a challenge in your life, you turned it around, you've turned it into a mission, you've created now something that is helping others. Share with me a little bit about your favorite part of what you do and how you feel that relates to igniting humanity in general.
I think there's nothing greater than the aha moment of when a parent steps away from this socially conditioned, my child is behaving badly, I need to discipline them, I need to punish them, I need to forcibly get them to behave the way that we expect them to behave. And when they have this permission
Mm,
to not to see their child as a child who is just doing the best that they can with what they know, then they just feel this relief of like, oh, thank you for telling me that it's
mm,
okay not to punish them for something that I really know that he's trying. He really didn't mean to to hit somebody or to break something, but he's, sensory deprived. And so he pushes things to the limit, or he pushes against his brother, but he really isn't trying to be bad. It's just a sensory thing. And the parent doesn't even know that. But when we say, look through your child's eyes, it really gives them this relief of, because we think that we're being bad parents if we're not punishing them enough into behaving well. And I think that we aren't, seeing them enough into behaving well. We're not
mm.
giving them a safe space. And then also the epiphany for parents that you're doing the best that you can based on what you were taught. And
Right.
there's no even blame, that we're not walking away to blame our parents or our grandparents. Everybody did the best with what they knew. And it's this opening, this open invitation to say, not to blame, but to understand and to have compassion and to get curious, and then to do better, and to say we can break the cycle by saying, we can do better. When we know better, we do better. And so that's that it's the parents' epiphany. It has so much more to do because when we see things differently, when we change the way we look at things, the things that we look at change. And so when we look at our children differently, not as being really, really bad kids, they change. They
Wow.
change.
Yeah.
It's not about disciplining them into it. It's just about loving them into what it is that we know that they're capable of.
I wonder where you were last night in our house, because I literally said that sentence to my 16-year-olds when I was a kid, when I was growing up, when my parents. And it's funny that we do that, right? Because we didn't really like it and we didn't really
Yeah,
want to be parented that way. And yet here we are saying to our children, when I was a
yeah,
kid and when I was going da 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 da. And it's
right.
fascinating that we carry that on with us. Is there ways that we can let go of, move through, and parent in a way that is more conducive to obviously what we need as parents, but also what our kids need?
Awareness is the very first step, right? This awareness of what I'm doing isn't working. It's not working. It doesn't feel good. It's getting worse. So just the awareness of that, and the awareness of then the beliefs. What's the story in my head that is making me respond in this way? So
Mhm.
my kid isn't doing his homework, then he's going to get bad grades. And if he gets bad grades, then he's not going to be able to get into a good school. And if he doesn't get into a good school, then he's not going to get a good job. And if he doesn't get a good job, then he's going to be homeless and he's going to be a drug addict. We always go there. We always go to they're going to end up being homeless, whatever it is. They didn't eat their carrots, they're going to become homeless and a drug addict. They hit their brother, they're going to, and so whatever it is, it always goes to that. And, I have just really spent the last couple of years challenging all of those beliefs. Anything that says, what is this causes the angst inside of me? And it's always some story, some belief that we were given. And you have to go back and say, okay, well, is it always 100% true that if you do your homework and you get good grades and you go to a good school that you're going to get a good job and you're going to, you know what I mean? There's so many different algorithms in there. And so it
Not
is
black or white, not exact or
Mhm.
unexact. Exactly.
And a lot of parents do well, this worked for me,
Mm,
but did it? Where are you? Are you really doing what you live? Do you have any angst? Did you have any trouble? So, and the thing is I hear that so much. Well, this worked for me, but your child isn't you growing
right.
up with the same parents, in the same neighborhood, in the same school, in the same cultural, environment. So, there's just so many things to just let go of all of these stories and all of these beliefs and say this isn't working. And then when you get out of all those stories and out of your head, then you can say, gosh, kid, what are you struggling with right now?
Mm,
This is
mhm.
really tough for you, this homework thing, this one class, this one paper, this what is it? Let's break it down. And then and then you find out so much more. But if you're just stuck on, I got to get the homework done, I got to get the homework done, I got to get the homework done, you are missing so much of the picture. And so if we just stop with, they've got to have a lot of friends, they need to get to bed on time, they need to eat this, they should. I don't know what they should
Mm,
and what they
mm,
need, but I'm way more curious. I have a lot more conversations with my kids. The things that I know is that they need to know how to problem solve. They need to be critical thinkers. They need to be curious. They need to know how to communicate. And those are the things that I'm always thinking about. And whether they're reading, Pride and Prejudice at this age, or whether they're reading chapter books at this age compared to what this kid and their grade somewhere else in the world who somebody 100 years ago defined. Okay, don't get me started on, traditional education. But anyway, if I just let go of some of that, then we can have a dialogue about what does work for you and what doesn't work
mm,
for you.
mhm. Well, you and I are kindred spirits also because I wrote a book called Enjoying Parenting, and I
Yeah.
love that word enjoying because I struggled with it too when I was writing that book, like fixing parenting, hacking parenting, making it, blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah.
suddenly I was like, we just need to enjoy parenting.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
you have this great word happier by the minute. Like you just want to make the moments with your kids happy. And
Yes.
so I love the enjoying happier. I mean, that really is going to ignite humanity for us
Yeah.
as parents, for us as grandparents, for us as aunts and uncles, for us as children who grow up to become parents. Because
Hmm.
today's Monday, we're talking about ideas. Do you have some ideas, some takeaways that the viewers can literally, at the end of the show, when it's over, start implementing into their lives?
I came up with this little anagram called stop. Okay. Like if everything is just going sideways, just stop. And the S stands for shh. Just be quiet. Stop talking. Stop yelling, stop thinking, stop, getting crazy, stop worrying, and just shh. Because I will tell you that one escalated child against one escalated parent just makes,
Mm,
10 escalated people. So just be quiet. And the T is to think like the child. And this could be anything. Think like the other person who just cut you off. Think like your partner who just had a really rough day and who didn't eat or whatever. Just think like the other person, but think like the child, and think like the child who isn't trying to misbehave and who does just want an ice cream. Yes, because they're a child. We
mm,
all want an ice cream, but we have had more experience in how to curb those impulses. But think like a child. And then so you can respond by it. But also, then the O is to observe what could be happening around that might be happening. Is it a child that has sensory issues and there's a light flickering, or there's a lot of sound and they don't want to be in this grocery store because it's too noisy and they haven't eaten and they were at school all day where they had to keep themselves together? So observe the environment. What are some other things that might be affecting them? And then the P, which is problem solve. And then you can partner to problem solve. And
Mhm.
that's where you really look at them and say, gosh, I am really struggling right now. And I can tell you're really struggling right now. And so let's problem solve. And you know what? Some of that solving of the problem might be you just leave the grocery store. And then you got to get rid of your, oh my God, what will people think? And if I just leave that, and if the child manipulated me and they're going to get what they want, or it might be giving them the ice cream. You got to let go of all the stories in your head about why you shouldn't do that and just solve the problem. Because, I use the zones of regulation a lot, the green and orange and red zone. But when a child's in the red zone, and they're escalated, there's no teaching, that nobody's learning. So let's just get them out of that. What do we do to get them back to a neutral space where they can learn and they can hear you? So stop is a really helpful visual too, with the stop sign and the stop, and like, okay, this I can do right now. I can be quiet. I can think like the child. I can observe the environment, and I can just solve the problem.
That's so great. I haven't heard that from you before, so I love it. But I also was thinking about your own self-regulation, like when you're feeling frantic, or when you're starting to
Mm-hmm.
spiral, or when you're feeling overwhelmed, you can just like quiet down, just think things through differently, see things from a different perspective, observe and problem solve. Like it's even something you can
Mm-hmm.
do
Mm-hmm.
yourself. So that's a really, really great one. I really love and appreciate that so much. And it's true, when we're in the flooded zone, when we're in the red, when we just, it doesn't matter what we're going to say, it's not going to solve. What's some suggestions for that, for ways of just calming the nervous system and just relaxing yourself and the child?
I have a good story that I tell often, and it's horribly embarrassing, but I use it because I am human. But there was this one time I was rushing to get out of school, out and get the kids to school really early on. They were probably only, 5 and 7 before we left school. And with Dashel, he needs a lot of tools for his school. And so I was, making sure his backpack had everything. And I looked in his backpack and he didn't have gum, which is something he needed while he was there to self-regulate. And so I yell at his dad, and I'm trying to get out of the driveway, and I'm yelling like, he needs gum. Why isn't the gum in the backpack? And he comes and he hands me a pack of gum, and I'm like, this pack is empty. And I throw the pack of gum. I throw it at him. It's empty, so it didn't hurt. And I was like, oh, I'm so frustrated. And I back out, and my kids are like, what just happened? And they're like, you shouldn't throw that at daddy. And I just was like, you know what? You are right. And so the very first step is accept where you are in the moment. Just accept it and own it. Own it. Own it. Own it. I am so sorry. You are right. What I just did was just, I'm super stressed because I couldn't find the backpacks. I couldn't get you in the car. I didn't want to be late. And I shouldn't have done that. Mommy is in the red zone. Can you help me? And so then I said, can you help me get out of the red zone? What are some things that mommy can do to get out of the red zone? And my 5-year-old, my 7-year-old, he said, well, when you listen to meditation music, you are not in the red zone. You're in the green zone, mommy. And so I was like, okay. So then I asked Declan, what can mommy do to be in the green zone? I'll turn on the yoga music. And then the 5-year-old said, you could just look at green things to be in the green zone. He's like, there's a green tree, there's a green tree, there's a green bush, there's a green car. And I was like, these kids are brilliant. And it did. And then I said, okay, now I'm in the green zone. Why don't I call daddy? And so I called him while they were still in the car. And I said, look, I'm really sorry. I got super stressed. I shouldn't have done that. I hope you accept my sorry. And, he did. And so we take them through it. We take
Yeah.
them through the whole process and show them. We model it. We live it. We own it. We own it.
Right, because they already know. It's not like we can hide it from them. It's not like we're saying, "Oh, we'll deal with it later." Like they feel it
Yes.
energetically. And so what you did was truly beautiful, because you actually showed them all steps of it, and then the solution, the solving, the restoration,
Yeah.
all of that. What a beautiful, beautiful example. If only all of us could do that
Yeah, we
as
call that the recover. We call that the recover and the repair. We got to
well.
recover, we got to get ourselves back. And then what do we need to do to repair? So, yeah.
Beautiful. I wish we all
So,
could be
yeah,
doing that.
yeah.
Let's all do that. Let's all sometime today, folks, if you're watching, you might be in the recover and the repair zone. You'll remember this interview and then just stop and take a breath in. Stacey, I love chatting with you. Congratulations on all your success. I know you just went best-selling author a few weeks ago in your book, Ignite Your Courage. How was writing that? Fabulous.
I
Amazing.
loved it. I love every chance I get to. I mean, it is, I believe every human should write in an Ignite book, not just because get your story out, but you've made it so easy, so beautiful, such a community. You don't feel alone. You feel supported. You could not make it any easier and more enjoyable. And, you know, that's why I keep doing it, because I love it. I love digging deep for the, you know, the roots where I have a lot of myself, and I just like to dig in and find out more about myself to keep growing, and these books really allow that. And so I loved it.
We love having you. Thank you so much, folks. If you want to know more about what Stacey's up to, please check her out at happierbytheminute.com. She's doing a lot of amazing work for parents and children. Love having you here. Blessings. Thanks for staying up late. Night. Time for bed.
I love you. I love you guys. Thank you so much for helping us ignite the world. Okay.
Same to you. So much love to you. I appreciate so much when folks stay up late and get up early to be on our show. We love having people here, and we are here every Monday to Friday at this exact time, 11 a.m. Mountain, 1 p.m. Eastern, and we're talking about ways to ignite humanity. If you want to know more about how you can help ignite humanity or how we can help you, please check out our website and see all the things that we're up to. We really love for you to be a part of this mission, because we, each and every one of us, are invested in how and where humanity is going, and we want you to be a part of how special that is. Now, if you'd like to be a guest on our show, please let us know. We've got a fantastic type form that you can fill out. Tell us a little bit about you and what you're up to, where you're headed in the world, and what's going on for you, how you're igniting humanity, and we would love to showcase you on the show. All right, big blessings to each and every one of you. I hope you learned a lot today. For you parents out there, STOP, you've got this. All right, take care. Go out and ignite the world. Blessings, everyone.
Now, more than ever, we need to come together to connect with one another. We need to feel the truth in who we are and let go of everything that's happened in the past. We need to empower every person on the planet and awaken hearts, enliven souls, come together, laugh, play, rejoice, connect, create, and love. It's time to ignite humanity. We want you to be a part of something that will impact the future for everyone. We want you to tell your story, share your Ignite moment, show people who you truly are. Be a part of igniting humanity and making a difference in the world and all of our futures.